Hey y'all, it's Linda. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am doing one of the videos I hate doing the most. I'm being overly dramatic. I don't actually hate doing this video, but I'm going to be ranking the last 10 palettes I've tried. And the reason that I say that I hate this is because it is rare, like really, really rare that I hate an eyeshadow palette. Like I can always find like certain colors in there I love, or I can find like, a certain color story in general that I love, or I can find like a formula that I love. I very rarely have hated a palette. Like I can think of two in recent years that I can say I've actually hated. None of these that are in front of me, I don't even want to say I don't hate any of them. I don't even dislike any of these. So these rankings are always so hard for me to do. But what makes one stand out over another for me is usually just what I'm feeling inspired by right now. So some of these are quite old considering. Like I feel like I see a lot of people do this video, and these are palettes they've picked up in the last month or maybe the last 2 months tops. Some of these are several months old at this point, but they are still relevant. You can still, let me just double check myself. Yes, you can still purchase all of these. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to rate it from number 10 all the way to number 1. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. All right, at number 10, we have the Glamlite Kiss palette. So I really enjoyed this palette. If you watched my video, I did not dislike this palette at all. I've had fun with this the several times that I've tried it. The reason that it's sitting at number 10 for me is because some of the shades, not all of them by any means, some of them are a little more difficult to work with, or they don't quite have the pigmentation I want. But this palette, you can absolutely work with this. I feel like this is just one of the ones in my collection that might take a little bit more patience, and especially considering that these are all, except for this white at the top, these are all quite deep shades. So I reach for this if I want a smoky eye only, like a smoky rocker eye, which I do want often, but not all the time. So I feel like this palette, I'm still definitely going to get use out of it. But when I'm looking at the last 10, I guess this is number 10 in my head. I'm changing the order so many freaking times you have no idea. But yeah, we're going with the Glamlite Kiss palette at number 10. At number 9, this one is also quite hard for me to put here, but it is the Surratt Beyond Beige palette. So I was lucky enough to receive this at the Creators and Friends event. It was my first time trying Surratt as a whole. They gifted us with several products to try, and some of them have become like Holy Grail status already, and it has only been literally like 3 weeks. That liquid liner, oh my God, it is so amazing, but we're not here to talk about liquid liner today. We are here to talk about this palette. So the reason that I'm putting this at number 9 is because, first of all, it is absolutely beautiful, but I do feel that this is targeted towards somebody who maybe wears makeup, like the same kind of makeup look every day, and they have that look that they feel confident in, and they just want something that's easy, that works. This is that palette. It really is lovely. I do find, I will say, that the pigmentation, like, see, of course I went into the deepest shade, but like here's the medium shade, excuse me. And I think you can tell here, this is deeper than my skin tone, but like it barely shows up. And you can see it there, but it's like, it's hard to build up, I find. I think that this is a very soft palette. This is a very like mom-friendly palette. I would absolutely love to buy this for a gift, but I do also feel that it's worth saying this quad for shadows retails for $102. Now, I am not a luxury makeup girly, so I know that in the luxury makeup world, that is likely a fairly normal price, but considering that I just showed you the Glamlite palette that I bought, $102 for a quad is a little hard for me to personally swallow, but this palette is still lovely. I wore this yesterday. I've worn this palette a lot, if I'm being honest, since I've gotten it, but for me and what is inspiring me right now, this is sitting at number 9. At number 8, here's where we're dipping back into like an older palette, and I know a lot of you probably wouldn't even call this a palette, but I'm going to. It is the Melt Petite Warm Stack. This is really cute, and I feel like these got no love whatsoever, and I understand it because I feel like when people think of Melt, they think of either like grungy tones, or they think of dark shades, or bright colors like bright deep shades. They don't want neutral colors, right? But these are really good. The quality is fantastic. So we do have a mix of mattes and shimmers in here. And these have been really convenient. I have dipped into these so so many times. Again, the reason this is sitting a little bit lower for me is because there's something else similar that I've been using a lot more, but at the same time, I have still used this one a lot and will continue to do so. These are really great. Like if you wear neutral colors ever, like for me, these neutral colors I prefer over the Surratt neutral colors, but it's because they're way, way more pigmented. So for example, if you're talking about your mom who likes to wear the same kind of shadow every day, she would probably prefer the Surratt over this. That gives you a little bit more options and also is a little bit more pigmented, I would say. So sitting at number 8, we have the Petite Warm Stack. And sitting at number 7, similarly, we have the Petite Neutral Stack. I was really surprised at how much I liked this more than the Warm Stack because I love warm tone shadows. I really do. I feel like they look really great with my eyes, with my hair, with my skin tone. I love a warm moment. But for some reason, this kind of has me in a chokehold. Like this is what I wore today. And obviously I'm not wearing a lot of eyeshadow today, but I have been reaching for this so much, especially, I know it sounds so dumb when I'm saying it or thinking it, but like this shade, which is the very top shade, does this have a name? I think it's just called Mellow. Yeah, the first shade is called Mellow. It is exactly the skin tone of my eyelids where it cancels out the redness. So I've been using this a lot and will probably hit pan on this at some point. Also, I love that this is cardboard packaging, so it is recyclable, but this one has more mattes than the other one. I've been using this a ton. This is the only shimmer, I believe, correct? The other two, yep, we only have one shimmer in this one, whereas the other one has two. I really enjoy this. Like, I really do. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna buy this for some friends as gifts, for like holiday gifts, because it's so good and I feel like literally everyone can wear this. The deepest shade is also like, it's quite deep, you know? I mean, and the lightest shade is obviously quite light. So I feel like there's a good range here. The quality is really good. I'm really enjoying it. So yes, the Petite Neutral is sitting at 7. This is the actual point where I was having trouble, okay? Number 6 on, because I switched it so many times. Like, guys, I switched this list a second before starting to film the video. Like, that's how much it was. So sitting at number 6, okay, sitting at number 6 is the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette. Why is this 6 and not higher? I really enjoy this. You know why it's sitting at 6 and not higher is because as of right now, I have only tried this once. I've only tried it once since I've gotten it, but I love this palette. The pigmentation is so good. This shade at the top, Balance, that like multi-chrome that shifts in 80 different lights, so good. Like Fantasy Cosmetica is such an amazing brand, okay? They are such an amazing brand, and I just am so impressed with the quality of their shadows. And I wound up loving this color story. I thought at first it was going to be a weird color story. Nope. It was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. As soon as I did the swatches, I could kind of see it all come together. And I really enjoy it. What's interesting is I actually did receive another palette at the same time that's not in this ranking. This is the Rogue palette, and the reason it's not in the ranking is because I haven't had the chance to play with it yet. I did do swatches, which I'll show you here, but I can't officially rank this. But I mean, again, with Fantasy Cosmetica, the quality is so brilliant on these. I love this grungy color story. I want to play with this right now. I'm not going to. Not going to because I've already decided on this like sparkly blue liner situation, but damn, look at that. Isn't that so good? Can we see the shiftiness at all? I'm so bad at this. Like every YouTuber is like really good at this. And I feel like, yeah, I'm just showing you the same. A+ YouTuber. So yes, I'm sticking with my position. The Fantasy Cosmetica Druid is number 6. We are in the top 5, and this one, oh gosh, it's so interesting that I'm putting this at 5 because this is one I've wanted for so long, like years. We're talking years I've wanted this, but considering that I have only played with this twice, I don't want to, and you know, it's a very specific palette. Okay, anyway, the Cleona shadows that I received. I'm gonna be very gentle in holding this up because you can see I did press too hard at first when I was using this and it got a little crumbly, but these are 9 of the stained glass shadows, and I am calling this a palette. I'm gonna call this a palette because it was my first time trying Cleona, right? And I have wanted to try this brand for so long, and I feel so lucky that I got to meet the owners and, you know, play with these shadows, receive these shadows, you know, at the Creators and Friends event. It means so much to me. These are so beautiful. They're so painfully beautiful. I will put swatches on the screen for you as I have with all of these, but these are so shifty and they are so shimmery in a way that no other shadow I own is. They just have this extra dimension to them that makes them so brilliant. Like there's a reason that these are standouts in the makeup community, and I'm seeing that now. I did put it lower though because I personally prefer to have some mattes in a look. And yes, Cleona does have mattes, by the way. I just don't have any yet. Notice I said yet. But I absolutely plan on adding to my collection at this point. These are so beautiful. I feel like I use these like to complement another look though. I don't create a look with just this, but look at it. Look how beautiful these are. Oh my gosh, I feel so lucky to own this. I really, really do, because these are priced a bit higher. Most of these shadows are about $14 to $16 each. So I'm aware that this is not an inexpensive palette I'm holding, but like, I feel like the quality and the uniqueness are what makes it like worth it. So anyway, this is sitting at number 5. Whew, at number 4. Okay. I wonder if you guys can guess the last 4. I really do. I mean, obviously with any of these, if you have guesses, like put them in the comments down below. For number 4, oh my gosh, really? Is this really going at number 4 and not higher? Yeah, okay. So it's the Sigma Cool Neutrals palette. I have now played with this several times. I love it. I love this palette. Now, I'm aware that this is not a 100% cool toned palette, and I feel like some people are definitely going to say that and maybe have issues with it. I don't care. You could call this the Schmagegi palette, okay? This is the Schmagegi palette by Sigma, and it is my number 4. The quality of Sigma shadows are so, so, so good. They make doing makeup easy. I feel like that's what I always say. Everything is easy. The colors blend together seamlessly. They are not patchy. Not a single one is patchy. In fact, like some of these even feel creamy. The shimmers and the metallics, they go on so easily with minimal fallout. Like it's an easy palette to work with. The quality is so good. I really love this. The only reason it's sitting at number 4 is because right now, as you'll see with my final 3 palettes, I am feeling color because it's spring, because the weather's warming up. I still wear neutrals very often, especially because of my job, my full-time job. But at the same time, right now, I'm feeling inspired by color and shimmer and like really like vibrant things. So that's literally the only reason this is number 4, but I'm going to get so much use out of this. Also, I always have to put this right back in. I think I told you guys in my video that there's the vellum insert. Usually these are clear. This one is so beautiful. I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. At number 3, this is another place where I switched. Like my top 3, I was switching recently. So at number 3, gosh, okay, it's the Unearthly Spring Magic. Look at this palette, you guys. If you tell me there's a spring palette coming out, chances are I'm not interested. Or I feel like I'm not interested because in my head, all I see is pink and purple. And yes, guess what? We have pink, we have purple, but we also have blues, and we have these deep earthy browns and this gold and greens and this kind of brick color. It is spring like reimagined for me, and it is so beautiful. Like I think you can already tell that this shade Sprout, I've dipped into it more than once. I keep dipping into it and I can't stop, won't stop, deal with it. It's so beautiful, and I'm having so much fun playing with it. I'm feeling very inspired by this palette. This is one where I think of different color stories to do, and it makes me want to try pink. Like these pinks are so beautiful. They're not your average pink. Like this one has a very strong gold sparkle. This has like a lavendery white sparkle in them. They are just so lovely. And again, I'm going to try to be a YouTuber and fail. Like, why do I even try? But I love this more neutral color. Like, I feel like this is a proper palette. You've got some deep shades, you've got light shades, you've got midtones. I feel like they did such an amazing job on this palette. I have been really, really loving it. Like this might be, oh God, you know, I say this I was going to say this might be one of my favorite Unearthly palettes. They're all my favorite Unearthly palettes. They're all so good. So yes, the Unearthly Spring Magic is sitting at number 3. I want to play with this like now. Look at this as I'm just holding it. Watch, watch, watch. Where it goes like purpley pink to gold green. Shut up. We are in the top 2, and I have a feeling you're not going to guess what's number 1. I have a feeling. Coming in at number 2. is the Melt Smoke Sessions 2. I love this. I love it. I'm still going to hold it up very gently because if you did watch my video on it, I almost immediately broke one of the shades by dropping the palette. This palette, I can't stop watching people's looks with this. I can't stop watching tutorials using this because even though it is obviously a pretty monochromatic purple palette, it inspires me and it's like delicious to me. It is so delicious. Like, I do love how the shimmers do range from, again, we've got this like very light cool tone purple, and over here these are more blue tones. This one has like gold sparkles in it. I just really enjoy this, and these mattes are so creamy to me, especially Purple Skunk. I have a feeling, it's so funny because on screen it almost looks like tan. It's very much not. It is like a mauve purple and it is lovely. I am going to be using the hell out of this palette. Like, when I first saw it teased, I was like, oh, that looks cute, like really cute. I would like to own that. But I've used this several times already since I got it. It did not come out that long ago, and I've already used it several times, and I find myself like dreaming of looks I want to do with this. Like, I really want to do an all matte look with some of that metal eyes on top. I did use the metal eyes today on top of black liner. I used Sour Grape, but I want to use that like shifty pink green one on top of like one of these mattes. I don't know why I am so inspired by this one. So yeah, the Melt Smoke Sessions 2 is sitting at number 2. That means that my number 1 palette that I have tried recently is the Nomad Wild Ireland Atlantic Way. No, wait, Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. I've loved this palette so much. I've been using it so much because this just speaks to me in that we do have these neutrals that you can play with. You've got some very deep shades. You've got these sparkles. You've got these metallics. And I love green eyeshadow. You guys know I love green eyeshadow. So the fact that there's so many greens in here, but that it is complemented with some of these like warmer like brick tones and this like sparkly bronze up here, like everything works so well together. And I love Nomad's quality. The quality is just so good. If you haven't picked up this palette, please pick it up. I'm going to put all of my discount codes in the description box for you. I have discount codes for a lot of these, which I'm so thankful of. Those are also affiliate codes, which means if you use them, I do get a small kickback, and that's a great way to support my channel and get yourself a discount. So thank you so much if you choose to use it. But this palette especially, I feel like is one of the best they've ever done. I feel confident saying that. I feel like it's one of the best they've ever done. I've gotten so much use out of it. So yes, my number 1 palette out of the last 10 I've tried, even though they put crushed velvet on the outside, is the Nomad Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. So that's it. That is my ranking of the last 10 palettes I've tried. Did any of those surprise you? Are there any of these that you've been wanting to try? I feel so lucky that I've gotten to try so many of these because previously, like the first time I did this video, I totally remember it, I was picking out palettes that came out a year prior, like a full year, because that I wasn't trying that much. I didn't get to try that much. And it's because of you guys watching and being so kind and liking my videos and everything like that, that I do get to try this stuff and review it for you all and play with new makeup, which just makes me so happy. Like, it makes me really freaking happy. So let me know down below, what is the number 1 palette that you have tried recently? Like, what is the one that is bringing you inspiration right now, that's bringing you joy? Tell me all about it in the comments down below, but that is it. If you enjoyed this video, I would love if you give it a thumbs up. That helps out my channel so much. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are all Glitter Fallout. And as always, and forever and evermore, you all are super freaking rock stars. I love you so much with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.